Hello, it's Jules de Groot speaking again in the 7th of my video casts, and what I wanted to talk about today was gratitude. So really to build on the other themes that I've discussed, particularly in terms of reframing, and also last week's video cast on kindness. So whilst it might seem a very simple concept, I think sometimes in the busyness of life we often forget these kind of things, and in fact in our past our amygdala at the back of our brain is programmed to focus on negative things. So in those cave days when we had to assess a risk that was going to kill us or get some food, we were going to go to avoid the risk no matter how hungry we were. And what's happened over time is we continue to be in that frame. So this is what the news keys into. Now, of course, we all have to be aware of the news, and it's important to be aware of what's going on in the world. But at the same time, this is negative diatribe all the time. And I've referenced this before about this 24-hour news channels and those kind of things. So a lot of these video casts have been talking about balance, and I'm just trying to give you some easy tools which you might be interested in to think about. And one of the easiest is thinking about a gratitude diary, and also thinking particularly about 3 positive and negative things at the beginning and end of every day. And because we live in this kind of quite negative frame, and our tendency is always to berate ourselves. We haven't done this good enough, we haven't done that good enough, we haven't been good enough at this. People will tend to, some people will tend to always focus on negative things. So some managers you will find you work with or colleagues are always in a negative place, and some are more optimistic. But one of the things we can do ourselves is think about 3 positive things at the beginning and end of every day, and actually that can really help reset our day. So it could be something very simple like seeing your lovely pet, your cat or your dog, and their lovely face, and they're so pleased to see you in the morning, or if you have them children, or again if you live with somebody, your partner, or although that could be, you know, the other way. But the point is about thinking about something nice, or you live somewhere nice, you like working with your colleagues, something like that. It could be something very simple like you wake up and it's a lovely day and you decide to go for a walk. And particularly at the end of the day, so one of the things we tend to do is berate ourselves about what we have or haven't done. So thinking I haven't done this well enough, or I didn't get to that, or I didn't do this, I could have done better on that. And whilst it can be good to reflect on those things, actually thinking I did achieve that the best I could. I put my bet, you know, I did a good piece of work. Next time I might learn that I can do something else, but essentially I did a good piece of work, or that went well, or I had a nice talk with somebody. I had a small encounter with my neighbour, with my colleague, which was really positive, and they said something really nice, which goes back to my kindness video cast. Those kind of things, you can really set something for somebody's day. I had just a small example. Before we went into lockdown, I went into a shop to return something, and I hadn't sealed it properly, and I didn't have any sellotape with me, and I was in a rush, and the chap behind the counter was just really helpful and got some sellotape out and made sure it was sealed properly. And I just said to him, that made such a difference to my day, thank you very much. And he was really pleased. So it can be very simple things, but remembering those simple things and getting into it, thinking about the things that you find positive. It could be seeing some lovely flowers in your garden, maybe you did a good job, maybe you planted some vegetables or cooked a nice dinner. It can be very small things, but thinking about those things that have gone well in the day, and particularly that resetting before you go to sleep, because what it does is it affects the filters of our brain and our hormones overnight, and that can affect our sleep patterns and things like that. And over a 6-month period, the research evidence is that that can really affect our mental health and improve our mental health. And there is evidence for that. So I'm not suggesting if people have deep-seated depression, anxiety, suddenly that will make it better. But in this context, I think trying to keep hold of those things and live the day rather than worrying about what's going to happen in the future can really make a difference. And sometimes things unfold differently than you expect them. So it's all looking after one another, like we talked about last week, and many of you have been doing anyway. And are doing, and thinking, being, you know, nice, complimenting, making a difference, but for ourselves, thinking about what we're grateful for and what went well, and that, you know, we have a nice house, or we have somewhere good to live, or we have a good family, or we have food, or you know, nice food. I mean, it can be anything, but thinking about positive things, I think at the end of the day can really make a big difference. So interestingly, Liv, my colleague, and I delivered the first of our Be Mindful About Mental Health to our teach-ins this week, and that's on mindfulness, mindful meditation, negative spiralling, general lifestyle things. And a lot of people there were saying one of the things they were going to go back to is a gratitude diary, because they found it really positive, and some of them had done it before, which is great, but they kind of got out of it in this time, and we're going to go back to that and really concentrate on that. And it can be a gratitude for doing one thing that you did well. You might set yourself that you're going to eat well today, you're going to do some exercise, you're going to make the best of the day, and you might only achieve one of those things, but that's fine. Good is good enough, and we don't have to be super at everything. So I hope that's helpful to you, and thank you for listening. Okay, take care and good luck with everything. Bye. Stay safe.